Hello, today I'm going to talk about Suggestopedia. It's chapter 6 of Teaching Techniques in English as a Second Language by Diane Larsen-Freeman, and chapter 8 of Approaches and Methods in Language Teaching by Rodgers and Theodore S. Rodgers. Suggestopedia is the application of the study of suggestion to pedagogy. It's also called Suggestopedia. It was developed by George Lozanov, and it is a science or a pseudoscience based on non-rational or non-conscious influences that human beings are exposed to in a daily basis. It is a humanistic approach that promises a faster learning process to increase the mental powers, mental capacity, because according to Lozanov, human beings use only about 5 to 10% of their brain capacity, and this Suggestopedia promises to increase this mental capacity of learners. The name Suggestopedia is because it promises to disuggest these psychological barriers that students have when learning a second language or when learning a foreign language. Ideas that they are going to fail, that they can't learn, that they are not good enough, that they won't succeed. And the teacher is supposed to disuggest these psychological barriers, redirect these influences that students are exposed to, and optimize the learning process. The objective and focus of Suggestopedia is to deliver advanced conversation proficiency quickly, increase these mental powers, and through direct and indirect suggestions, destroy these psychological barriers. The environment of a classroom in Suggestopedia is different. It's a cheerful, playful, lively environment. The classroom is very bright, colorful. There is a table with masks and rhythm instruments and hats. The decoration in the classroom is different as well because they believe in peripheral learning. So there are several posters in the classroom with images of the United Kingdom and information about it. Music is also an important part of Suggestopedia. It is considered to have a therapeutic use to relax students and evoke positive emotions. The furniture is different as well. There are reclining chairs to help relaxation. Music, as I said, is very important, and there are 3 main functions to music in Suggestopedia. First, it facilitates and maintains personal relations. Second, it increases self-esteem, yes, through increased self-satisfaction. And third, music is used to energize and bring order, bring rhythm, path to class. Teacher and student are very important in Suggestopedia. The figure of the teacher is the figure of an authority. The teacher must be respected. Her authority cannot be questioned. And the teacher is the one that is supposed to disuggest students' limitations. She is the one supposed to, through direct and indirect suggestions, destroy these psychological barriers that students may have. The teacher must show that the learning process can be easy and enjoyable and fun. The teacher usually uses a soft voice. She cannot correct students in a confrontational way. So when she needs to correct students, she uses a soft, calm voice in a way that students feel comfortable and not confronted by it or inhibited by it. The role of students is to trust their teachers, respect their teachers, and in a way that they feel more secure in class. They must not question their teacher, but they must trust and respect their authority, and in this way feel less inhibited and more secure. An important part of this Suggestopedia is infantilization. Learners are supposed to act like children most of the times. There are games and songs and music and role-playing, and the teacher is kind of a parent figure and the student the child figure in the classroom. According to this Suggestopedia, this helps students to feel less inhibited and more secure, because they are not themselves, they are somebody else, so they can't be afraid of exposing themselves. So students must immerse themselves completely in the method and maintain a pseudo-passive state, as they cannot question the methodology nor the teacher. The class. The class is the methods and techniques of the class include the use of pantomimes. The teacher uses pantomimes to help students' understanding, the use of questions and answers, and a very important part is a dialogue. There is a text containing a large number of new vocabulary, and students are supposed to memorize this vocabulary through the dialogues. So an important part of the method is memorization of vocabulary, acquiring new vocabulary in a large scale quickly. Grammar is not the focus of the Suggestopedia. It's there, it's present, but it's not the focus of the class. There is no homework in the Suggestopedia, only the fact that students must read this dialogue before they go to bed, and when they wake up in the morning, that would help their unconscious or subconscious brain capacity to memorize these and acquire this new vocabulary. As I said before, infantilization is an important part of the Suggestopedia, so there is role-playing. Students have a new identity, so they are supposed to have a new biography by the end of the semester, by the end of the course, and they role-play all the time. In the beginning of the class, after students choose a new identity, they are given handouts with the dialogue. And in this handout, there is the dialogue, a vocabulary list, and some grammar notes, grammar comments. And the teacher talks about it, explains it, but she does not dwell on it. It's fast. The most important thing is the dialogue. So there is a first reading, and this first reading is through music. The teacher reads the dialogue using music, and she speaks in the rhythm of the music in a very slow way. It's usually classical music, and students listen to the text, and they can read the text in the target language and in their native language. So translation is used in the Suggestopedia to help making things clear. After this first reading, there is a second reading, and in this second reading, students close their handouts, they don't look at it anymore, and they just listen to the teacher. There is another music playing, another song playing, and they just sit on their chairs, relax, and listen to the teacher again. But now the teacher speaks in a normal tone, in a normal rhythm, not following the music, although music is still present. The components of the Suggestopedia are the authority, the teacher is the figure of authority in class, infantilization, as I said, because the relationship of teacher and student is like the parent-child relationship, games and songs, role-playing, and there is something called two planes or double-planedness. There is a conscious plane and a subconscious plane. The conscious plane is the communicative part of the plane, of the class, with direct instruction. The subconscious plane is the non-verbal part of the class, the indirect instruction. This second plane, the subconscious one, is more powerful. This is the one that will destroy these psychological barriers that prevent students from learning. Another important part is intonation. There is variation of tone during the reading of the teacher, and rhythm. The teacher follows a different rhythm and varies rhythm to avoid boredom and help meaning. Concert pseudo-passiveness. In the second reading, as I said, students close their scripts, they close their handouts, and they just sit, they may have their eyes closed, and they just listen to the teacher as she speaks in a normal rhythm, and the students just relax. They listen and they relax, concentrating in the teacher's words, concentrating in the vocabulary. In conclusion, the Suggestopedia is a method concerned with fast learning, acquisition of vocabulary in a large scale, focusing on the communicative intent, not on the form of the linguistic message. It's supposed to work for all kinds of learners, and it's supposed to be useful in all areas of public life. And in my opinion, it makes sense that a state of relaxation will help students learn, will facilitate learning, and that the teacher is viewed as an authority. But this choice of a new identity might be questionable, because although they say the methods will help destroy these psychological barriers, it's not very natural to think that in order to learn a second language, you must lose your identity. Okay, that's it. Bye-bye.